Hello, everybody. Welcome to These Are Tunes, Course of Collie Dog Howloween. Today we're going to talk about the next 4 episodes, which are Night of Weremole, Bonus Date, The Duck Murders, and Son of the Medium. So we're going to start off with, obviously, Night of the Weremole. Now, Night of the Weremole is kind of one of those things like, werewolves. So, the episode obviously starts off with Courage and Eustace being in the house. This one about the business. Well, Muriel is in the garden picking carrots. Obviously, once she's picking carrots, she sees a bunny, or rabbit, whichever you prefer, and she tries to feed it to it. She feeds it a carrot, but during that process, a Weremole comes out. There's a little bitty Weremole, and obviously it takes the rabbit. But when it comes back for more, and bites Muriel. So, after she gets bitten, they go to the doctor. I don't remember the doctor's name, but he's an idiot, okay? The guy doesn't diagnose her very well. She has a big hand. And you think, okay, something's wrong there. I like a huge hand. So he just throws it, just keep soaking it. Just keep soaking it. And so they go home. She starts soaking that hand of hers. And during that time, Eustace tells her, you're finished, so Courage goes in there. And after the fact, she looks at the full moon, obviously going with the whole werewolf trope of if they look at the moon, during the full moon, they become a werewolf. So she becomes a weremole. Not completely one, but so Courage sees a weremole and has a heart attack. And so he goes to the hospital, and he's like, it's about the big, doctor says, it's about the big one. What is up with that? So they go and see Muriel, and she seems normal until she shows her big fangs. Of course, she gets a hold of the doctor, and then they go up, Grace goes up and tells the computer what's going on. He's like, he tells him that the weremole has a taste for people and rabbits. And he tells him how to cure weremole. One, hit it with a big mallet, which Eustace is trying to do. Or two, get a piece of fur from the weremole that bit her. So, Curtis goes out to basically get this weremole's fur to cure Muriel. Eustace is going around trying to smack this weremole. Smack Muriel, who's now a weremole. Obviously, Curtis dresses up as a bunny. And it's funny because the weremole doesn't even try to eat it. He just flails it around. So Courage takes a piece of its hair, and he goes back in, and about now is the time when Muriel comes closer to Eustace to bite him. So there's dots of her into Muriel's mouth, and they go, and he's like, "You stupid dog! Look what you done! I almost had him." Obviously, he thinks it's a mouse. So they go back downstairs, and Muriel's back to normal. But the doctor from before, since he's been bitten, is now a weremole. And that's it. And Eustace smacks the doctor in the Curtis goes, "Is there a doctor in the house?" Our next episode is Mother's Day. Now, Mother's Day is more or less just a regular episode. It's not scary in any way, shape, or form. Unless you count the baldness. But anyway, this is one of the more subtle episodes. So, it's Mother's Day, and Muriel tells him to go visit his mom. Eustace doesn't want to go visit his mom unless Muriel goes with him. He's like, oh no, I'm not going to visit her. And he tells her to take courage. He'll take courage. So he does at the little head station. So Eustace shows him the high sign, which is this. And he tells him that's when you attack her. So they get to her trailer park RV, and he gives a high sign. And he tells him, and then he stops on his foot after he doesn't do it the first couple of times. He goes, bad dog, bad dog! Because obviously he jumps in. And this is why I like Eustace when he's mean for courage. Even Muriel sometimes. And so they go in and he has his hat on, which is number one rule that he broke. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, Ma. I should take my hat off in the house. And he goes, oh, put your hat back on. You look like a billiard ball. And he gives Kurt some food. And Eustace, again, is mean to him. He says, what are you doing at the table, dog? I'm not. So, eventually, he gets Eustace some food, which is 2 little bitty sticks of bacon, like really tiny ones. And after that fact, they go into the living room, where Kurt shows him that he should give her the chocolates and the flowers. And the mirror. So, first he gives her the flowers. She sneezes at them because he's apparently allergic to them. And then he gives her chocolates, which he doesn't like chocolates. And then they decide to go ahead and get a picture. And she wants a picture with Kurt. Then, of course, they get in an argument, and they decide to have an arm wrestling match. And Eustace tells him, if I lose, you lose. So Kurt brings a bouquet of flowers to her nose. As she sneezes, she loses a hairpiece, which is obviously a wig. And, what happened to your hair? And then, gets mad at him. And, it makes sense because Kurt did kind of make her upset by, getting a wig off. But, with Eustace's instructions. So, he tells her, you always look good to me, Ma. And she tells him, really? Oh, you're the ugliest boy I've ever seen. And they both laugh. And they both get a picture together. There's a part in the episode where we find out where Eustace gets his crude humor from, too. His mom, because he puts on a mask and goes, ooga booga booga! So, they go back home and Muriel sees the picture they took. Alright. Time for the other episode. Excuse me, by the way. It's time for the other episode. The Duck Butters. Now, the Duck Butters is another episode. And this is not like the ticket from outer space. These guys are actually nice. So, the Duck Butters is one of the funnest episodes I've ever seen. Basically, they take Muriel and put a little device on her head. And, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So, one of them starts laying an egg. And the other one goes, "Stop doing that. You'll wake her. Besides, we're duck butters." So, they put him back into the farmhouse and then they decide to wake her up, and basically this helmet they give her is a remote control. So they get to go out and go to this laboratory where this Seth obviously is preparing this duck. And who is this duck, by the way? We'll get to that in a minute. So Courage goes out, and Courage follows her to this secret place, and he finds the Duck Butters, and they get into a bit of a fight with each other, and then he gets the controls back from them, and he starts making Muriel do all kinds of stuff, walk on the ceiling, back into the wall, and eventually the Duck Butters come back with Eustace with the same helmet. So they get into this Rock'em Sock'em Robots kind of thing, right? Where if you ever played Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the idea is to knock their block off, which obviously is just punching them until their heads go up. And he does this, but then the Duck Butters get Muriel with no Eustace to punch Muriel in the stomach. He's like, hey, no low blows. And this is where I think John R. Dilworth actually makes me wonder if he actually got the idea for some of the crude humor in this cartoon from Bugs Bunny, because we've seen that a lot, or Looney Tunes, because we've seen it a lot in a lot of cartoons with Daffy Duck. And he says, "None of this," pokes him in the eye, "and none of this," kicks him in the leg, "and none of this." And they both do it at the same time. So they get back into the fight, and they both lose. And the Duck Boys start crying, and they tell the reason why they have to get Muriel. They want to get the butter out of this cook's area. So, and they get into, and he's like, "Well, why didn't you just ask?" And one of them says, "Well, why? I told you to ask. You kept talking. No, you didn't." "Yes, I did. You kept laying eggs." So, Courage finally tells him his idea, which is put the same helmet on him and have him walk in there. And of course, by the way, this guy has something for little dogs and little ladies. The South, by the way. And he walks in and he sees a bunch of experiments, or a bunch of aliens, which obviously aren't what they want. But when he gets to the duck, he takes him and and the chef goes, "Hey, come back here with that. What am I supposed to serve?" Curtis goes, "Strudel." And so the episode ends at the end of the episode, the Duck Butters, all three of them, start laying eggs, and he's like, please stop doing that? He's like, you did it too. And so the episode ends with Kurtz basically controlling Eustace to do some labor for them. Alright, the last episode we're going to talk about is Shirley the Medium. Now, Shirley the Medium, Shirley, this character in this episode, is going to be seen quite a few times in Kurtz. In this episode, she's a medium. And so Kurtz digs up this box, which apparently belonged to Eustace's older brother, Horace. Now, Kurtz is looking for the yo-yo that he lost. And we'll get to that in a minute. So, he brings it inside, drops on Eustace's foot, and it's apparently the same box he's been looking for. So he tries to open it with a wrench. Obviously, Kurtz looks in and sees a monster. Green-arm monster, if you will. And he tells him, don't open that box. So he can't get it open, obviously, without the key. So they're watching the telling channel. And this medium called Shirley, a commercial called about Shirley the Medium comes on, and they decide to call Horace with this medium. And she tells him, she comes on and she says, call spirits should not be used for personal gain. So she does, and Horace isn't answering. Here's a funny thing. I think this is the whole thing about, not being able to do stuff like call upon spirits and, spiritual stuff. So Kurtz asks her to look for his yo-yo. And she goes, I see, a yo-yo! It's under the sofa. And so she finally gets a hold of Gertrude, who tells Muriel to try vinegar in a raspberry jam. There's a lot of episodes where she uses vinegar. But, anyway, so they finally get a hold of Horace, and he tells him, there's nothing in there for you, Eustace. Bury the box. And Eustace finally gets him to tell him where his key is. It's in his hat. So Eustace, gets the key, puts it in the lock, and obviously, but not before he throws Shirley out. And he says, you will not be warned. He shuts the door again. And so he goes back in, opens the box, and two big arms come out. And they grab Muriel. No, they grab Eustace first, then Muriel. And so Kurtz goes outside to look for rope, which is a clothesline, and he looked at Muriel's bloomers, okay? No, it's her apron. And he's like, Don't tell me anyone think of something funny for that scene. And he goes in, she's like, did you fold the laundry? And he goes, such a good dog. And he goes back out and finds Shirley the medium. She said, he opened the stupid one. He opened the box, didn't he? And so she goes in, and she goes, you had to open the box. And she slams on the monster, and money comes out. And so Eustace goes over, opens the box, and gets pulled in. And guess what's in the box? Money. But he's now trapped in there. So the episode ends with Muriel tasting the new raspberry jam, which obviously in the middle of the episode when she's making it, she gives him courage, and he goes, oh, "You're right, too much vinegar." And so he asks, "Can I buy?" And Eustace asks Muriel if he can buy some of that jam. And she goes, "Yeah, if I can find the key." And Courage has the key in his mouth, obviously telling us that he doesn't want that box opened again. Alright, so that is it for today's episodes. Next tomorrow we'll be talking about, I gotta look this up because because I need to find out what episodes are next. Because these are all in volumes, okay? So let me see. Here we go. All right. So next time we're going to be doing King Ramsay's Curse, the Clutching Foot, the Hunchback of Nowhere, and the Gods Must Be Goosey. Oh my gosh, the Gods Must Be Goosey is a funny one. So we'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll see you guys on the next video.